Yo, the sun don't shine forever, but as long as it's here, then we might as well shine together. Better now than never, business before pleasure. P. Diddy and the fam, who you know do it better. Yeah, right, no matter what, be airtight. So when you hear something, make sure you hear it right. Don't make an ass out of yourself by assuming our music keeps you moving. What are you proving? You know that I'm 2 levels above you, baby. Hug me, baby, I'ma make you love me, baby. Talking crazy ain't gonna get you nothing but choke. And that jealousy is only gonna leave you broke. So the only thing left now is God for these cats. And babe, you know you're too hard for these cats. I'ma win cause I'm too smart for these cats. While they making up facts, we making up plaques.
In the commission, you ask for permission to hit him. He don't like me, him and wild wife, he was with him. You heard of us, the murder.
I'm out here grinding. I do this for the streets, the runners. Cause I'm out here grinding. I don't care what nobody say. I'ma be me. Stay hood, stay raised in the streets. Niggas talk about greatness whenever they speak about me. Cause I'm out here grinding. I ain't splitting nothing with nobody, homie. I gotta get me. Cause I'm out here grinding. I ain't slipping 8 days. I can go for 8 weeks. Ain't nothing to me. Cause I am the street.
Put my life on the line, but I'm likely to ride. I'm on top of the game, fuck if you like it or not. X how I get the free strawberry sushi sweet. You be dealing with H when you're dealing with G's. Now she deal with the realest, shopping like it's still December. Diplomatic.
Oh, and I hope you guys make it to the. Oh, I just had to send a text like, you guys won't believe this. People that were that top street law with me. Wow.
Shannon Jenkins.
Ms. Jenkins, you may proceed.
My name is Shannon Jenkins and I am representing Metro City Police Department. Your Honor, Erica Decker is being looked upon as being an unfit owner, not having control of Angel, who is no angel. Your Honor, Officer Pons is a Metro Police officer who has been a veteran on the force for many years. Officer Pons risks his life every day in the line of duty. Officer Pons acted immediately to the public disturbance on January 16, 2012 at Rosa Parks Avenue. You're going to hear Officer Pons explain his conversation with Ms. Decker, her behavior that day, and also Angel, who is no angel. Ms. Decker's actions were that of a loose cannon. Ms. Decker not only was a distraction, she was interfering verbally with an arrest. You are going to hear a veteran explain how Ms. Decker did not take care of her dog that day. Ms. Decker's actions are unfit for owning that dog. Ms. Decker was no longer on her property or holding the animal's leash, having the animal now at large. The dog was baring its teeth, preparing to lunge. The dog leash was also during the time on the ground. You are going to hear a security expert witness who explains Officer Pons' actions. Officer Pons' actions did not deprive Ms. Decker of her rights, privileges, or immunities. We would like to emphasize that Officer Pons acted from his years of experience, training, and knowledge of unruly situations such as this one. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today because Officer Pons was doing his job. We ask for a verdict for the defendant. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel.
Ms. Decker, isn't it true you only paid $5,000 for your animal?
Yes,
Isn't it true, Ms. Decker, that you missed a class in the training program?
I did.
Isn't it true you received a certificate?
Yes.
Do I have to mark it even though it's already been marked? Bring to edit. Well, Your Honor, I wish to have this document marked for evidence as Defense Exhibit B.
It has been received as Defense Exhibit B.
Do you recognize this item?
Yes.
What is it?
It's the certificate of completion that I was given when Angel completed Train of Pit.
Actually, just so we're clear, that's actually Plaintiff C that we're talking. Okay.
Okay. So, isn't it true you received a certificate that wasn't signed?
Yes.
Isn't it true you didn't go to any supplement classes?
No, I did not go to supplemental classes.
Isn't it true you were too busy to train your dog?
I was too busy to go to the supplemental classes. I was not too busy to train my dog.
Isn't it true the animal was runner-up for the strongest in the national show?
He was, yes.
Isn't it true the dog is a strong competitor?
He was a strong competitor, yes.
When people are yelling or screaming, isn't it true Angel gets agitated?
Yes.
When you attended the last show, isn't it true Angel got distressed?
He did.
Isn't it true that the animal started barking and snarling?
Yes, he did.
Isn't it true that when the dog attempted to go after the mom, it took all your strength to hold on?
Yes, I did hold on to the leash tightly.
So now let's talk about the day the animal died. So isn't it true you grabbed the animal and cell phone to make a complaint?
Yes.
You don't need your dog to make a complaint, do you?
No, I do not, but I wanted to make the cop feel a little nervous.
Isn't it true you brought your dog outside to make him feel nervous?
Yes.
Isn't it true people were yelling obscene and rude things?
Yes.
Isn't it true Officer Pons asked you to turn off the camera immediately?
Yes.
What does immediately mean, Miss Decker?
Right away?
Isn't it true you yelled for everyone to gather around?
Yes.
Isn't it true you were harassing Officer Pons by yelling to get him out the neighborhood?
Yes.
Isn't it true you were recording to get back at Officer Pons for speeding tickets you had to pay?
Not Officer Parnes, but the police department.
How many fines did you have to pay for all your speeding tickets?
I don't know.
Hundreds of dollars. So you don't like the law very much, do you?
No.
Did you let go of the dog's leash?
I did drop it when I was nervous, yes.
So at the time your dog was free to roam?
No, I didn't think so. He was a well-trained dog, and he stayed by my side just like he was taught to do so.
So you're saying if you dropped your dog's leash, your dog wasn't free to roam?
I didn't think so, no. He was taught to listen to my verbal commands.
So earlier during questioning, you said your dog gets agitated and distressed around loud noises. Then why would you let go of the animal's leash while you were yelling for people to gather around, screaming at Officer Pons?
Officer Parnes had his gun in my face. I was nervous. I used both of my hands to close the phone, and I accidentally dropped the leash.
So you told us earlier that your dog was well trained.
Yes.
In the training program, do they teach your animal how to act around a crowd?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You did receive a brochure, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Earlier you said there was a time before at a dog show when it was hard to strain your animal.
Yes.
Did they teach your animal in training how to be hard to restrain?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Did they teach your animal in training how to be hard to restrain? No, I'll reword it. Did they teach your animal in training how to be difficult to restrain?
For me as an owner? I don't understand your question. I'm sorry.
I'll skip it. Is your dog trained on how to act when people are throwing rocks?
No.
So was the dog trained on how to act when surrounded by 20 people yelling and threatening a police officer?
In my opinion, yes, but according to the brochure, no.
So maybe you should have held on to the leash, right?
I guess, but when you have a gun in your face, it's hard to focus on more than one thing at a time.
In fact, isn't it true that Officer Pons asked you to restrain your animal?
Yes, he did. She did.
Isn't it true the animal made a movement towards the officer?
He shifted from a sitting to a standing position, yes.
Isn't it true you said now you hate cops even more than you did before?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you used Angel to make money?
Yes, he competed in competitions which brought in money for my family.
No further questions, Your Honor. Your Honor, I wish to have this witness statement marked for evidence as Defense Exhibit B.
Okay,
May I approach the bench?
yes, you may. This one, since it's loose, and you want this marked as, Exhibit B, is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
The paper on the desk. The paper on the desk in front of you is the evidence.
Mr. Decker, may you read the second paragraph the seventh sentence? I guess.
It took all my strength to hold on the leash.
I guess, Angel.
I guess Angel wanted to protect the child because he started barking and snarling.
So, isn't it true Angel started barking and snarling?
To protect the child, yes.
And when did this occur?
Generally, a couple weeks before January 16th. Okay.
So, Irk, were you lying then or now?
I am not lying.
Earlier, I asked you, was Angel snarling and barking? You told me no. But in your witness statement, it says something different. So, were you lying then or now?
In my statement, it says he started barking and snarling.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Wait, let him answer the question, please.
It said in my statement he started barking and snarling because he wanted to protect the child.
So you're admitting,
Wait, what's the objection? You need to stand and you make the objection.
This is badgering the witness.
Well, she's cross-examining him. I mean, she's brought out what she believes to be a contradiction. So far so good, but I'll see what the next question is. And depending on that, you may have an objection. I'll overrule that objection. See what it is.
so you're admitting he was snarling and barking.
To protect the
No
child.
further questions,
Okay,
Your
wait,
Honor.
To protect the child, yes, he was barking and snarling.
Thank you.
Terry Gibson today.
And what was your name, man?
Good morning. Okay.
You may proceed.
Mr. Gibson, isn't it true that you are 20 years old and unemployed?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you have been unemployed for a while now?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you had some incidents with the law in the past?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you got arrested when you were 15 years old?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you got arrested for shoplifting?
Yes.
Isn't it also true that you got arrested 3 years later for possession of marijuana?
Yes.
Isn't it true on January 16 you went into the Speedy Market?
Yes.
Isn't it true you went to the Speedy Market to meet a bunch of your friends?
Yes.
Isn't it also true you said that you don't usually be in that neighborhood?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you also bought rolling paper?
Yes.
Isn't it true that rolling paper can be used to smoke drugs and make them different?
Yes, but that was not my intention.
Isn't it true that weed and different kills your brain cell?
Sorry, could you say the question?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Counsel.
One moment, Your Honor.
Your Honor. Your Honor, the reason why I say that is because he can be under the influence right now.
Counsel?
Your Honor, I don't understand how the health effects of marijuana pertain to this case.
Well, 3 years ago he got caught for possession of marijuana, and also when Officer Pons arrested him, they found weed on him also.
Okay. So you're saying this has something to do with his perception?
Yes.
Okay. And you're saying that, counsel, go ahead. Do you wish to respond?
Yes, I still think the biological and cognitive effects of marijuana are irrelevant for this case.
What I will do is I don't believe counsel has laid sufficient foundation in order for it to be relevant here, but I will allow you to continue to examine and take it under advisement. If you do not lay the proper foundation, I will strike it from the record.
Thank you,
may
Your Honor.
proceed.
Isn't it true that you also walked out the store after buying little baggies and rolling paper immediately and you made a phone call?
Yes.
Isn't it true when you saw Officer Pons pull up, you began to walk away quickly?
Yes.
Isn't it true you began to walk away because you got nervous?
Yes. I didn't want to be in that situation.
Isn't it true that walking away quickly from a police officer can be a sign of nervousness?
It can be.
Isn't it true that you threw something down the sewer after Officer Pons pulled up?
It was my sugar package and coffee here.
Okay, thank you. Isn't it true throwing trash and little baggies in the sewer is littering?
Yes.
So isn't it true that littering is the law and that you can't get fined for it?
Yes.
Isn't it true you panicked after dropping your baggies?
I panicked when the officer pulled his gun on me for it.
Isn't it true you dropped something?
Yes.
Isn't it true you panicked and needed somewhere to drop your stash?
No, I didn't have a stash. I threw away.
Isn't it true you got arrested after you began quickly walking away from Officer Pons after he saw you drop something in the sewer?
Yes.
Isn't it true that when you were searched, they found drugs such as weed on you?
Yes.
So you want us to believe you are unemployed, just bought cigarette paper, little bags, walked away when a cop pulled up, were found to have weed on you, and you say you were there to just meet friends?
Yeah, we were gonna play some basketball.
Isn't it true? Isn't it true that people were yelling at the cop?
Yes.
Isn't it true that Mrs. Decker were yelling for people to gather at the corner to scare off the cop?
Yes.
Isn't it true that Mrs. Decker was attracting people to infer with the cop?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you heard Mrs. Decker yelling and her dog was barking?
Yes.
Isn't it true that people say Angel is no angel?
Yes.
Isn't it true that people complained that Mrs. Decker's dog was snapping at the kids at the football game?
Yes.
Isn't it true that Mrs. Decker let her dog run around at the football game?
Yes.
Isn't it true that Mrs. Decker never had Angel on a leash at the football games?
She did have him on a leash to my knowledge.
That's a yes or no, sir.
That's it. You said, did he not have a leash on?
I said, isn't it true that Mrs. Decker let her dog run around at the football games?
Yes.
Isn't it true that Mrs. Decker never had Angel on the leash at the football games?
No.
Hold on. Isn't it true that the coach asked Mrs. Decker to leave her dog at home?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Serving as golden shoes because of their high inside and the benefit of dependability.
Yes.
Isn't it true that when security officers use dogs in lines of duty, they hold the leash in their hand as they walk with the dog?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you choose not to use pit bulls?
Yes.